starting seated comfortably, so that might be legs crossed, might be legs straight out in front of you. Making sure both sitting bones are grounding down. Spine is long. Hang on. Just wait for Helen a sec. Spine is long. Gently closing the eyes when you're ready. And just settling in. Just letting the mind catch up with the body. Beginning to notice the breath. Becoming aware of the inhale. Aware of the exhale. Perhaps making a note of the quality of the breath. The length of the breaths. Just being aware of where it is, not judging it, not trying to change it. And this morning's practice is a little bit different from the chakra practices that we've been doing. We're going to try and work every joint, every muscle in the body in different directions, just thoroughly working everything, becoming aware of everything, strengthening that union between body and mind. So bringing your awareness to the feet, just scanning the feet for any areas of tension or tightness. And working up, scanning the ankles, the lower legs, up to the knees. Past the knees to the thighs and the hips and the buttocks. Just noticing where you're feeling any discomfort, any tension. At this point we're not trying to change it. Just noticing, just becoming aware. Into the stomach and the lower back. Scanning up the rib cage and the chest. The middle of the back and the shoulders. Let your attention rest to the shoulders for a moment. Feel a heaviness where the attention rests. Scanning the hands, the wrists, the lower arms and the elbows, the upper arms and back to the shoulders, the neck and the throat, the face, the back of the head and the top of the head. Just being aware now of how your body feels as a whole. Any particular sensations of temperature, and just letting your attention relax. And when you're ready, gently opening the eyes. And if you've sat on a block or a cushion or anything, we're going to move that out of the way. We're going to cross the legs. We're going to try and have the shins parallel to each other. Feet are as close to under the knees as we can get them. Sitting up nice and tall on the inhale, and as we exhale, hinging forwards from the hips, just until we feel some resistance. Not going any further than that. If it feels nice, taking a little sway from one side to the other. And inhaling, easing yourself up. Let's swap those legs over. Whichever way you have the leg crossed, cross them the other way. Inhale, lengthen the spine again, and exhale, hinging forwards. And again, noticing if one side perhaps feels easier than the other, if one hip feels tighter than the other. Just being aware of it. Taking a little sway if it feels good. And then inhaling, easing yourself up. We're going to walk the fingertips out to the right hand side, the right fingertips to the right hand side. Start to bend the elbow to come into a side bend, sweeping the left arm over the top, left bicep by the left ear. Reach those fingertips away. Inhale back to centre. Exhale, we're going over to the left hand side. Keeping the gaze wherever is comfortable for your neck this morning. Inhale to centre, exhale over to the right. Inhale to centre, one more time over to this left hand side. Inhale to centre. We're going to pop the hands down just behind the hips with the fingertips pointing forwards. We're going to bring the knees bent and the feet flat to the floor. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to lift the hips for reverse tabletop. It's up to you if you want to open the throat or not. Just feeling that stretch down the front of the shoulders, squeezing the glutes. Exhale, releasing back down. We're going to bring the legs straight out in front of us. Pulling the toes up towards us, make sure you sat on your sitting bones. We're going to bring the hands flat to the floor either side of the hips. A little pressure into the hands, tucking the chin slightly, taking the gaze to the toes for Dandasana. Staff pose. So the legs are active, the arms are active. Trying not to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. And then releasing the top half of the body, we're going to bring the arms out in front of us and we're going to rotate the wrists one way. Be quite thorough with this, we're doing quite a lot on our wrists this morning and the other way. And then we're going to point the fingertips down, point the fingertips up and down a few times, feeling that stretch in the front and the back of the lower arm. And then give them a shake off. We'll come back, we'll do some more wrist stuff as we go through because I'm conscious of what we're doing this morning. So inhaling, we're bending the right knee, bringing the right foot flat to the floor. We're going to hug that knee in, and it's a move I used in my restorative the other day. We're going to rotate that foot. I enjoyed it, so we're going to do it again. Rotating the ankle the other way. And then if we can, we're either going to take the right foot into the left hand and the right hand to the right knee, or if we can cradle it and bring that right foot into the left elbow crease, we're going to do that, and we're going to rock this hip. And whatever speed suits you, whether it's faster or slower, try and keep the spine long, try not to round into the back too much. And then we're going to pop that right foot down on the outside of the left knee. Sitting up nice and tall, lengthening the spine. Pull those left toes in towards you this time. Take a breath in as you exhale. We're going to start to twist to the right. We're going to bring the right hand down just behind the right hip, wrapping the left arm in. Take another breath in to lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, perhaps twist a little bit deeper and take the gaze over that right shoulder. Inhale and returning back to centre. Release that leg. We're going to bend the left knee, popping the left foot flat to the floor, lifting that foot up and rotating that ankle as well. So we're just trying to get into all the joints of this opening sequence. And the other way. And again, cradling that lower leg or perhaps holding the foot and the knee. We're going to rock that leg one way or the other. I said this the other night, it always feels like somebody else's leg for some reason when you're doing this. It's a really strange one. And then popping that left foot down on the outside of the right knee. Lengthen the spine, sit yourself back up nice and tall on your sitting bones. Inhaling, and as you exhale, starting to twist to the left hand side, wrap that right arm round, left fingertips come down behind us to keep the spine long. And when it feels nice, take another breath in to further lengthen the spine and exhaling. Twisting a tiny bit deeper, taking the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, winding yourself. Crossing the legs again. We're going to bring the arms up bent at the elbows. We're going to bring the right elbow on top of the inside of the left elbow. For the Garudasana arms that we did the other week, so we're either going to have backs of the hands together, or if we can, we're going to wrap them around. Lift them up and away from the chest. Make a conscious move to push the elbows away from you. And we're just going to make little circles one way, little circles the other way. Feeling into the shoulders, the back of the shoulder. If there's anywhere that feels like it needs a good stretch, then do ease into it. Releasing the arms, we're going to sweep them behind, clasping the hands together, interlacing the fingers. Roll the shoulders back and down, and dropping the chin towards the chest. Push the hands away from the lower back. Try and keep the palms together if you can, but if it starts to come apart, don't worry. Just all depends on your shoulder mobility. Lovely, releasing the hands. Let's cross the legs the other way. So let's keep ourselves nice and even today. We're going to bring the arms up again, bent at the elbows. We're going to pop the left elbow on top this time, wrapping the arms around. Push those elbows forwards, feel that stretch across the back of the shoulders. Rotating the wrists one way and the other. And then releasing the arms, let's sweep them behind one more time. Interlace those fingers, roll the shoulders back, tuck the chin into the chest. Push those hands away. Then releasing that, just bringing the hands to rest on the knees. A few neck rolls as well, and let's not leave those out, you know they're my favourite. Take a breath in, lowering the chin to the chest. Exhaling, gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale to centre, exhaling over the left shoulder. And just repeating that with your own breath. 3 or 4 times on each side. And then coming back to a neutral position when you're ready. We're going to take 3 lion breaths now. So we did these the other week. So we're going to open the mouth wide on the exhale. Tongue goes towards the chin. I'll do one for you to have a look at, and then we'll do 3 more together. So we're going to really relax the face and relax the jaw by doing this. So you can gently close the eyes. Nobody can see each other then. Take a smooth breath in through the inhale, through the nose. And as you exhale, stretching the face, making that sound. So we'll do 3 of those together now. Take a smooth breath in through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And again, smooth breath in through the nose. And exhaling. One more time, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the mouth. When you're ready, opening the eyes. We're going to bend the knees and bring the feet flat to the floor. We're going to bring the fingertips either side of the hips. We're coming into Ardhanavasana, boat pose. So really lifting the chest high, lengthening the spine and rolling the shoulders back. We're going to make that move as though we're pulling your mat towards you with your toes, and you'll find your chest will just lift a little bit more there. Take a breath in, we're going to lift the left toes. Exhale, lower. Inhale and lifting the right toes. Exhale, lower. Another breath in, let's lift the left toes and the right toes. Keeping the fingertips there for balance for this one. And then crossing the legs, coming to seated. So the other week we tried to lift up from where we are. I think I've been working on it, and I've got a little tip so we can all have a go at it. So it's a little bit more dynamic than we did last time. I'll come to the side so that you can see, and I'll just show you and then we'll have a go together. We're just going to do 2 of these. So we're going to come from Navasana with our arms extended. We're going to cross the legs, the arms are going to stay roughly straight, and we're going to roll forwards onto them and pick up there. And just that little bit of momentum can just perhaps help you to get a little bit more lift. Now, if you find that you're lifting and your feet are still on the floor, persevere. It's the same movement, it's still working all those core muscles, and it will come. But I've been working out this week to try and make it a little bit more accessible, and for me that seems to help. So we'll give it a go together and just see how we get on. So sitting on our sitting bones again, knees bent, feet flat to the floor. Just resting the fingertips lightly because we're going to use those this time. We're going to bring the arms into it. So make that move again to pull the toes in towards you, nice and tight. Take a breath in, let's lift the left foot and the right foot. And if it feels okay, we're going to extend the arms. Keep that chest lifted, lovely, well done everyone. Just another breath here. Then we're going to cross the legs, start to roll yourself forward, plant those hands, lift. And lower. Well done. Settle yourself, we'll just do one more. Try and remember which side you had your legs crossed and try and cross them the other way this time. So again, chest is high, shoulders rolling back and down. Pull those toes in towards you. We're well placed now for our boat pose. Take a breath in. As you exhale, let's lift both of those feet and extend those arms. Pull the chest up, lovely there, beautiful boat poses, well done. Okay, cross those legs the other way, start to roll forwards, plant the hands, lift. And lower it back down. Well done everyone, let's come over onto our hands and knees. Thought we'd get that out of the way before we're all tired. So, coming onto our hands and knees. Hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. Take a breath in, let's extend the right leg behind us and the left arm out in front. Focus on a part of the mat if you need to, keep pulling the belly in. Reaching the fingertips and the toes away from each other. Lowering them back down. Take a breath in as you send the left leg back behind you and the right arm out in front. Pulling that belly in. Keep reaching. Lowering them back down. Do one more on each side. So inhale, reach with the right leg and the left arm goes out in front. Lovely. Lower those back down. Take a breath in as you lift the left leg and the right arm. So again, we're working on our core here, we're working on our balance. Lowering down. And a few rounds of cat and cow, because no introductory sequence would be anything without it, would it? So take a breath in as you exhale, let's tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly button up, pushing into the back of those shoulders, dropping the head. Maybe taking another breath here, having a little wiggle into any areas that feel like they might need it. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, melting the chest through, lifting the gaze. Again, it's nice just to spend a moment here, have a little bit of a wiggle. Exhaling, pushing up into cat, really getting into the back of those shoulders. Push them out away. Inhaling, through to cow. And just doing one more of those each way. Inhale, melt that chest through and lifting the gaze. And coming back to a neutral spine position, we're going to make some figure of 8 circles with the hips. So as though we're drawing with our belly button. So your figure of 8 could be really, really big, taking the hips back towards the heels. It might be smaller, just see how it feels for you this morning. Feeling into any areas that are particularly juicy or particularly tight. And then swapping and going in the opposite direction. And that's the hardest thing I'll probably ask you to do all day. And then coming back to neutral. Just tucking those toes under and floating ourselves back to downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent. Let's get the upper half of the body right first. So spreading out the fingers, ears are between the biceps. Melting the chest through, slight bend of the elbows if you need to, and give that head a wobble. It's not holding any tension in that neck. Once you're happy with your upper body position, let's start to walk the heels up and down, stretching into the back of the legs. And if it feels nice, then allowing both heels to drop towards the mat. Lifting the sitting bones, pulling the belly in, taking a couple of breaths here in downward facing dog. And really noticing how you feel, noticing if the hands and the feet are doing equal work. We flow through downward facing dog so much, it's nice to spend a bit of time here sometimes. On your next inhale, let's lift that right leg all the way up behind us. We're going to bend the right knee, we're going to allow the right foot to drop over. And take the gaze under the under the right armpit. Opening the front of that hip. Then re-straightening that leg. We're going to step that foot about halfway up the mat. So we're not coming all the way up. We're going to flatten that right foot and we're going to come onto the outside of the left foot. Then open the chest and the arm for a side plank variation. Again, gaze can be towards the mat or up towards the hand, but keep pulling the hips up. Don't let them droop down towards the mat. Also replace that right hand. Unwind yourself back to downward facing dog. Lowering the knees towards the mat. Let's just take a moment in child's pose with the hands behind, palms facing up. And if you need to stay higher in the child's pose with your knees, that's fine. Just try and point the palms up. Give those wrists a little rest in between. And then coming back onto our hands and knees. We're going to reach the right arm up and out and threading it through underneath the left. For thread the needle, we're just going to do 3 or 4 of these on this side. Feeling that nice twist, working into the shoulder. Really reaching the fingertips through each time. Make this one your last one now. Coming back onto your hands and knees. Let's tuck those toes under and floating back again to downward facing dog. Walking those heels up and down again if it feels nice. Lifting the sitting bones, melting the chest through. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg all the way up to the sky. We're going to bend the left knee, allowing that left foot to fall open and the gaze under the left armpit. Feel that opening right across the front of the body. Inhale, straightening that leg, and as you exhale, stepping the left foot halfway up the mat. We're going to flatten that left foot, we're going to come onto the outside of the right foot, the weight comes into the right hand, and we're opening the left hand towards the sky. Lift those hips, don't let them start to sink down. Replacing that left hand, unwind yourself back to downward facing dog. And again, let's lower the knees and just take a moment to rest those wrists. Side plank is tough on the wrists, tough on the shoulders. Maybe giving the wrists a little rotation. We'll do a bit more in a sec. And then coming back up onto your hands and knees, we're going to do thread the needle on the left side this time. So inhaling, reach the left arm up towards the sky, and exhaling, threading it through underneath the right arm. Really reach those fingertips. Inhale, lifting the arm. Exhale, reaching it through. Inhale, reach. One more on this side. And then we'll come back onto our hands and knees. Just sitting back on your heels for a second, or however's comfortable for you if you want to stay high on your knees. We're going to interlace the fingers and we're going to rotate kind of a figure of 8 with the fingers just to get into those wrists a little bit more, because we're doing a bit more on them next. Maybe see if you can go the other way. I can't go the other way. My arms just don't recognise that instruction. Lovely. Release those hands, give them a little bit of a shake. Let's come onto our hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, floating back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, floating over into plank. Really pushing the mat away from you, pulling your belly in. Inhale, floating the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take a breath in here as you exhale, lowering just the knees towards the mat. So we're in a tabletop position with the knees hovering an inch or 2 above the mat. Everything's active. Inhale, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. So take a breath in, exhaling over into plank. Lovely. Inhale into downward facing dog. Exhaling, lowering those knees, hovering them a couple of inches above the mat. Inhale, lifting the hips up and back. Okay, this time we're going to lower the knees towards the mat. We're going to lower the hips towards the heels. We're going to take our gaze through the hands and we're going to hop towards the front of the mat. Now if you only get halfway, don't worry. We're just practicing. It's all practice. So now we're in a forward fold at the top of the mat. And if you're halfway up the mat, just tiptoes to the front. That's what I'm doing. Keeping the knees bent. Let's grasp opposite elbows. And just let the head hang for a second in this first forward fold. Then releasing the arms, we're going to start to sit the hips back and down, sweeping the arms up and the chest up for chair, Utkatasana. Inhale, folding back into Uttanasana. You can start to straighten the legs or move them towards straight this time if it feels okay for you. Let the head hang. Inhaling, bending the knees, starting to sit the hips back and down, reaching the arms up, gaze to the thumbs if it feels okay for you. Biceps are towards the ears for Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, folding back into Uttanasana. And we're going to bring the hips to the waist, slight bend of the knee, and bring ourselves up to standing. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Let's grasp the left wrist with the right hand, and we're going to take a side bend over to the right hand side. And you can use a bit of tension, you can pull on that left arm if it feels okay. Inhaling back to centre, let's swap that over, grasping the right wrist with the left hand, going over to the left hand side. Inhale, releasing that, give the arms a shake. We're coming into a couple of rounds of sun salutations now. Grab a quick drink if you need to. And we're coming to the top of the mat. Feet at hip distance, really spread those toes out. Pulling the kneecaps up, the legs are active. Tucking the tailbone slightly under and rolling the shoulders back and down. Palms face forward, the jaws parallel to the floor. Maybe just gently closing the eyes for a second. Opening the eyes, inhale, reach the arms all the way up, gaze to the thumbs. Exhale, folding forwards. Slight bend of the knee if you need to for Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen, fingertips to the shins. Exhale, refold, fingertips come down. Let's step the right foot all the way back, dropping that right knee down. Inhaling for this first one, let's just bring our hands to that front knee. Just allowing gravity. Let the hips drop a little bit further. As you exhale, the hands come down. Let's tuck the right toes under and step back for a plank. Okay, from here we're going to lower onto the forearms. So we're in a forearm plank. We're going to drop the knees and then we're going to drop the hips towards the mat. So we're coming into Sphinx, just in a slightly different way than we usually do. So the elbows are underneath the shoulders, the hands are flat. Adjust that distance if you need to and try and relax the rest of your body. Just for this one back bend, relaxing the glutes, the lower back, the legs, letting the spine drape gently down from the shoulders. On your next inhale, bringing the hands directly under the shoulders, tucking the toes under, and coming back to downward facing dog through hands and knees. Inhale, reach that right leg all the way behind us. Exhaling, stepping it through, the left knee comes down this time. Again, let's just bring our hands to that front knee for this first one. Exhaling, fingertips come down, we step the left foot to join the right at the top of the mat for a forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, refold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach those arms all the way up to the top, gaze to the thumbs. Exhale, swan diving down straight into our second side. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, refold, fingertips come down, step that left foot all the way back. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Gaze can come to the thumbs if it feels nice. And as we exhale, we're going to interlace those fingers behind, just as we did before, trying to keep the palms together and pushing the hands away from the lower back, rolling the shoulders back and down. Releasing the hands, reframing that right foot, we're going to step back into plank. Lowering the knees, and the chin and chest towards the mat, keeping the elbows tucked in and the bottom high. We're going to come to lie down on our front. So we're going to do a couple of variations of locust pose. So let's start off by bringing the forehead to the mat. The arms are by our side, fingertips pointing towards the toes. We're just going to do the top half of the body first. So take a breath in. When you're ready, exhaling, lifting the chest and the shoulders, lifting the arms, sending the fingertips back towards the feet. Gaze is just to the end of the nose. Inhale, lowering down. Rest the forehead. We're going to do the lower half of the body this time, so the top half of the body stays down. Take a breath in. When you're ready, exhale, lifting the feet and the knees, really grounding down into the pelvis, trying to keep the forehead on the mat. It automatically, I think, starts to lift when you do this. Inhale, lowering down. We're going to put those together for our next one. So take a breath in. As you exhale, lifting the shoulders, the chest, the head, knees, feet, fingertips. Everything comes off the mat, apart from the stomach, the hips. Feeling the strength of the spine. Exhale, lowering down. We've got one more variation. You can repeat that one if that felt good. If you want a little bit more, if the back feels strong today, we're going to reach the arms overhead. So bring the arms overhead now while the forehead is still to the floor. Reaching the fingertips forwards. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lifting the legs, lifting the chest, lifting the arms, reach them forwards. And you'll really feel the difference if you're doing this. The weight of those arms really increases this back bend. Exhale, lowering down, make a little pillow underneath the forehead. Just to rest your head for a moment. It's not a dramatic back bend, but it is a strong one. And if you feel ready, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes under. We're going to come back to downward facing dog. Take your time. We're going from one spine direction to another. Settle yourself into your downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg all the way up behind us. Exhaling, we're stepping it through, dropping the right knee down. Lovely. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, interlacing the fingers behind us, pushing the hands away from the lower back and rolling the shoulders down. Exhale, replacing the hands either side of the foot. Let's step the right foot to join the left at the top of the mat. I didn't want to come with me then. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, refold. Inhale, reaching all the way up to the top. Hands are reaching higher. We're going to sit back and down into chair again. Straight into chair pose. We're going to bring the hands into prayer at the heart. And if it feels okay, we're going to try and bring the left elbow stick outside of the right knee. If it doesn't make it all the way there, just make that move. If you're tucked in there quite nicely, we can try and open the arms wide. Try and do that with claps in the knees. Excellent, well done everyone. Returning the hands into prayer at the heart, untwisting yourself. Reach the arms all the way up, slight back bend, little stretch there. Exhale, we're sitting back and down into chair again. Reach those arms. Inhale, bringing the hands into prayer at the heart. Steady yourself. We're going to bring the right elbow towards the outside of the left knee, twisting to the left this time. And if you're tucked in nicely, we can open the arms. Inhale, the hands are coming back into prayer at the heart. Untwist yourself, pop the fingertips on the floor, lift the hips up, Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, hands to the waist. Let's bring ourselves up to standing. Lovely. We're going to do a little warrior sequence now that ends in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, which is quite a strong balance. I think you've all done it before. So this may be where you need your block. You may not. You might be fine with it. So I'm just going to show you how we're going to go in and out of it and when to use the block if you need to, and then we'll all do it together. So we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana through warrior. So we're going to do a couple of warrior poses. We're then going to come into, when we come into Ardha Chandrasana, we're going to wrap the right arm behind us just so it's out of the way. We're going to step this right foot in a little bit. We're going to reach this left hand down towards the floor. Now it's going out diagonally from the left toes. This is where you're going to put your block if you need it, just to bring the floor up to you. We're going to lift the right foot and straighten the left leg. We're going to open the hips, so they're not closed towards the mat, they're open. Opening the chest, opening the arm. Gaze is to the floor or to the top hand, whichever feels okay. To come out, we're going to step that foot back down, bring the hands down, and come to downward facing dog. So I like to show you how to get out of it, because I always think when you're in it, that's the hardest part to try and fathom out and look at me for. So if you're ready, we'll give it a little go. Let me see which side I'm starting on so I don't confuse everybody. Okay, come into the top of your mat, feet at hip distance. Let's bring the hands into prayer at the heart. Roll the shoulders back and down. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, let's step the right foot all the way back, making a really big stride. Shuffle it back a bit further if you need to. Left toes are pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Right toes are turned in at roughly 45 degrees, and we're going to square the hips with the long edge of the mat. So coming into warrior two. So they are open, the hips. Take a breath in, we're going to bend that left knee deeply. We're going to check we're not lunging over those toes, we can still see the toes. Inhaling here and exhaling, reaching the arms wide, taking the gaze down the front hand. Lovely. Bending that knee deeply. Can you bend it an inch lower? Fabulous. Inhaling, let's drop the right hand towards the outside of the right leg. And the left arm comes up and over for reverse warrior. Holding there. Inhale, lowering the left hand elbow towards the left knee, reaching the right arm over the right ear. Resting warrior. Inhale, bringing yourself up, exhaling, let's come back into reverse warrior again. I heard this called peaceful warrior this week, which for me doesn't seem to work, it's a bit of an oxymoron. Inhaling back up and exhaling into resting warrior. Gaze to the top hand only if it feels okay for your neck. Okay, from here we're going to wrap that right arm behind us just so it's out of the way. Let's step this right foot in a bit just to give us a bit of room to move. We're going to bring the left fingertips either to the floor or to the block. We're going to bend a little bit more into that left knee to spring the right foot up off the floor. Opening the hips away from the mat. Point those toes and reaching the arm up. Excellent, well done everyone. Lowering that right hand down towards the mat, let's step the right foot back. We're going to come into downward facing dog. Just take a couple of breaths here. We're going to inhale the right leg all the way behind us, and exhaling we're going to step it through. Turning the left heel in, we can come straight up into our warrior legs. I'm just going to turn around. So I'm pointing in the same direction. So straight up into our warrior legs, right toes short edge of the mat, left toes are 45 degrees. Right knee bent towards 90 degrees, hips are open to the long edge of the mat. Let's float those arms up and out and take the gaze down the front hand. Again on this side, can we drop those hips an inch lower? Lovely. I used to hate my teacher when they said that. Inhaling, dropping that left hand towards the left leg. The right arm comes up. We can take the gaze to that top hand. Exhaling, bringing the right elbow towards the right knee, reaching the left arm over. Left biceps by the left ear. Lovely. Inhaling, left hand towards the left leg, right arm comes up. And exhaling one more time for resting warrior. Okay, let's wrap that left arm behind us. Let's step that left foot in a bit. Planting the left hand down either on the block or on the floor. Take a breath in when you're ready, lifting that left foot, straightening the right leg. Open those hips away from the mat and opening the chest and the arm. Excellent, really well done. Drop that left hand towards the mat, step the left foot back and down. The right foot joins it in downward facing dog, but let's not stay there, let's take a long minute child's pose. Bringing the knees wide, toes together, maybe making a pillow for the head with the hands. Settle yourself down for a moment. Some really excellent balance in there. When you're ready, bringing yourself up, we're going to come to seated with our legs straight out in front of us. So we're coming back into Dandasana again. Make sure you're on your sitting bones, pulling the toes up towards you. Palms of the hands are flat to the floor. Roll those shoulders back and down. Tuck the chin slightly as you take the gaze to the toes. Looks like such an easy pose, but everything is active. Inhaling, lifting the gaze, reaching the arms up, sweeping them all the way up. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips for Paschimottanasana. Hands might reach the floor, might reach the shins, might reach the feet. Keep the spine long. Inhaling, lifting up just a little bit, find a bit more length in the spine as you exhale. Perhaps folding a little bit more deeply. Keeping a slight bend in the knees if you need it. Inhale, releasing the gaze, releasing the hands, ease yourself up. I'm going to bend the right knee, right foot is flat to the floor. I'm going to allow that right knee to fall out to the side, so the sole of the foot is on the inside of the thigh. Tuck it in tightly, you've got roughly a 90-degree angle there. Make sure both sitting bones are still on the floor as you square the torso with the straight leg. Take a breath in, let's reach the arms all the way up. Exhaling, let's hinge forwards towards those active toes. Keep the spine long, dropping the head only when you're as far as you feel you can go comfortably. For Janu Sirsasana, enjoying that stretch on the lower right back. Inhaling, easing yourself up. We're going to place the hands behind us with the fingertips pointing forwards. We're going to point the toes on the left foot to start to bring that foot towards the floor, and we're just going to lift the hips from there. So it's a bit of an awkward movement. You will go off to one side slightly, just opening the front of the body. Inhale, lowering down. You can use your hand to bring that knee in, straighten that leg out. Let's do the other side. So let's bend that left knee, allowing it to fall open so the sole of the foot is on the inside of the right thigh. Make sure you're on your sitting bones as you square your torso with the right leg. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. And exhale, hinging forwards. Hands will reach wherever they reach, don't worry too much about it. And just as we did in Paschimottanasana, if it feels nice to inhale and come up a little bit, exhale, fold more deeply. And that's up to you, give it a try, or not. Inhale, lifting the gaze. Again, bringing the hands behind us with the fingertips pointing forwards. Starting to point those right toes as we lift the hips. Maybe opening the throat if it feels okay. Just a brief stretch. Inhale, lowering those hips down. Straightening both legs out in front of us. We're going to do one more Paschimottanasana, but this time we're almost going to do a lazy one. So we're not reaching the arms, we're just going to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to allow the body to drape forwards. And if it starts to round slightly, that's okay. Might be nice to have the palms facing up and just relax the feet as well. Just allowing the upper body to drape over the lower body. Inhale, bring yourself up. We're going to come to lie down on our backs now. Knees are bent, feet are flat to the floor. Arms by our side with the palms facing down. Chin might be slightly tucked in. We've come into bridge pose. We're taking a breath in. We're just going to flatten that lumbar area of the spine and start to lift the hips. Lifting onto the back of the ribs, onto the back of the shoulders. Squeezing those glutes, pushing down into the feet. And exhale, we're going straight back down again, nice and slow. And again, inhaling, lifting those hips onto the back of the ribs and back of the shoulders, squeezing the glutes, ground those feet, ground the hands. Exhale, lowering down. Okay, really grounding down this time with the right foot. We're going to point the left toes up towards the sky. We're going to do a one-legged bridge. And if the leg happens to fall down, so it's only just hovering over the floor, wherever it might be in that range is absolutely fine. Just as long as we've only got the right foot grounding down. So really spread the toes out on that right foot. You can use the arms to help. Take a breath in, let's lift the hips. Onto the back of the shoulders, point that toe, reach it up to the sky if you can. And exhale, lowering it down, keeping the leg elevated. And then releasing the left foot to the floor and the hips are grounded. Let's swap that over. So start to take the weight over into the left foot, spread those left toes out. Reach the right toes up towards the sky. Inhaling, lifting the hips onto the back of the ribs, back of the shoulders, point that toe, squeeze that left glute. Left leg's working really actively, the arms can help. Exhale, lowering back down. Release that foot to the mat. Using both feet to lift the hips slightly, we're going to place the hands underneath the buttocks, underneath the lower back, wherever's comfortable for you. We're coming into Matsyasana, fish pose. So the hands are facing down, we're sat on the hands. We're going to lift the upper body up, so come onto the elbows, and drop the head back, so the crown of the head's coming towards the mat. And if it feels nice, then we can release the legs so that they're straight as well. So just a slight back bend, opening of the throat. If this doesn't feel good, then just take a moment lying down, maybe hook the knees in. Releasing the head, releasing the elbows. Bringing the feet back in. We'll just do a gentle twist each way before we come to Shavasana. So with the feet flat to the floor, let's lift the hips and drop them over to the left a little bit to give us room to allow the knees to fall over to the right. Making sure that both shoulders are still down. You might need to adjust yourself so that you can get really comfy. Then opening the arms wide. The gaze can come over the left shoulder, or it can stay towards the sky, wherever's more comfortable for you. I'm trying to release any tension in the belly, any tension in the lower back. Let go of those muscles. A lot of us carry stress and tension around in our stomachs. Now's the time to ask the muscles to release, to let that stress and tension go. Just relax. Inhaling, bringing the knees back to centre, the feet are flat to the floor. Let's lift the hips and drop them over to the right, allowing the knees to fall over to the left. Adjust yourself so the shoulders can stay down, and taking the gaze maybe over the right shoulder, maybe up to the sky, whatever feels good for you. Again, trying not to hold on with those muscles. Asking them to give you some release. Relaxing everything down. Inhaling, bringing the knees back up to centre. Releasing the legs, releasing the arms, coming into your version of Shavasana. Legs outstretched, feet flopping as wide as the mat. Arms away from the body with the palms facing up. Chin gently tucked in. Closing the eyes and lowering the gaze when you're ready. If it feels better for you, keeping the knees bent, feet flat to the floor. Find your comfortable place. We've got a slightly longer Shavasana than normal this morning. It's something I've been spending a bit of time on. It's interesting to know that certain schools of yoga believe you should take Shavasana for as long as your active asana practice. So feel free, if you've got a spare hour after this, to take an extra long Shavasana. I think it'd turn into a nap for me. Otherwise, getting yourself really comfy and returning to the breath. Observing the ebb and flow of the breath. Noticing the quality and the speed of the breath. Perhaps noticing if it's different to when we checked in an hour ago. Every exhale, letting the body settle down a little deeper into the mat. I'm going to finish by relaxing every muscle in the body. Taking your attention to the toes and letting the toes relax. Relaxing the big toes, the second toes, the middle toes, the fourth toes and the little toes, letting all the toes relax. Relaxing the top of the foot and the sole of the foot. Relaxing the heels and the ankles. Relaxing the shins and the calves. Relaxing the front of the knee and the back of the knee. Relaxing the front of the thigh and the back of the thigh. Relaxing the hips and the buttocks. The whole of the lower body feeling heavy and grounded. Relaxed and supported by the mat. Bringing your awareness to the stomach. Letting it relax. Relaxing the lower back. Relaxing the middle of the back and the chest. Relaxing the top of the back and the shoulders. The front of the shoulders and the collarbones. Really allow them to drop into the mat. Heavy. Warm. Releasing away from the ears. Relaxing each of the fingers now. The thumbs, the forefinger, the middle finger, the ring finger and the little finger. And all the fingers relax, curling gently towards the palm. Relaxing the palms and the back of the hands. Relaxing the wrists and the forearms. Relaxing the elbows. Relaxing the upper arms. Relaxing the neck and the throat. Relaxing the back of the head where the neck meets the skull. Relaxing the jaw and the tongue inside the mouth. Relaxing the face, including the little space between the eyebrows. Let any tension release. Relaxing the ears. Relaxing the back of the head. Relaxing the top of the head. The whole of the head is relaxed. The whole of the body is relaxed. Just be. Starting now to perhaps deepen your breathing slightly. Bringing your awareness back into the room. Noticing the sounds outside the room. Becoming aware of any sounds inside the room. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe rotating the wrists and the ankles. If it feels good, reaching the arms overhead and taking a big full body stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. And then when you're ready, inhaling the knees into the chest, giving yourself a big hug. Maybe rolling round on the lower back if that feels nice. And slowly, no rush at all, rolling yourself over onto your right hand side. And in your own time, easing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And bringing the hands into prayer at the heart. Just offering a moment of gratitude for the practice and what it might have brought you this morning. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.